Hi, and welcome to Punks on Film. My name is Lawrence, a punk with toys, and I am with.
Mamu's Action Figure Blog. Matthew, good to see you guys.
And today we're going to be talking Commando, and I know you guys have seen it. And we're also going to discuss the next movies that we're going to get into, which was kind of a shocker to me, to be honest. It does look like Revenge of the Nerds ended up winning out. Um,
Aw,
um, what actually shocked me about that is on this this page, Punks on Film, not a single person voted for it. But on the other one, Punk with Toys, we got the votes, and it looks like that's what we're going to be doing. And look at this, Sergeant Reds. We were just talking about you, and picking up my Broadway. Yep, we're talking Commando. We just this is not our toys show. This is just where we talk about a specific movie, talk about some TV shows. So, Radical Toys is here. So yeah, this is just our live to talk about. I like him. It's really nice. Now the review will be out tomorrow morning. Believe it or not, I came home, ate dinner, did it. Luckily, I had everything prepared for this, but yeah, I like him. He's nice, really nice. Um, so anyway, if you guys are wondering, this is Sergeant Red's toy store right in my area, Utica / Shelby. I believe it's Utica, Utica, Michigan. So check him out on Instagram and definitely on YouTube. He's got a lot of interesting stuff. He actually has the grimace, uh, the grimace like cell on the outside of his place, and the Hamburglar space shuttle that you climb into.
oh, those creepy McDonald's things.
Yep. So anyway, before we get started, let's discuss the one crazy Utica, not Shelby. So anyway, let's get into the season finale of The Mandalorian, and then we'll talk about the good season finale. Since we've discussed it the past few weeks when we started. What's your take on the season finale of The Mandalorian?
Well, I just thought it was meh. I mean, it was more of the same action, action, boom, boom, candy, candy, candy. And then they take something else away from you. Like they blew up the Razor Crest. They got their thing they do this season too. They take that away from you too. And then, yeah, we'll see. I don't think Jon Favreau's coming back. They killed his character. I think he's done. I don't know where the show goes from here.
Oh, okay. So Radical Toy says he hasn't watched it yet. Um, we probably should wait more than a day, but I gotta say, overall, the season was decent. It's the series started off so good. So Radical Toys, I apologize.
We'll try not to spoil anything. We'll
Yeah,
keep it spoiler free.
yeah. We'll try not to spoil anything. Again, it was decent. Again, I do think the writing, and you pointed it out more, is very like you're telling me everything. You don't have to tell me. I'm watching what you're doing, so I don't need a word for word of what's happening with their speeches and different things like that. Now, I do think some of the acting was pretty poor. You have Esposito, who is an amazing actor,
Oh yeah.
and that last episode where he's talking to everyone, and then he gets into the whole um, what was it? Not hail the empire. What did he say? Long live the empire. It was just so cheesy, like
Yeah.
so cheesy.
To have such a good actor be relegated to that kind of scripting was a little disappointing. I mean, he could do so much more with a character like that.
Well, I agree. I agree. And same with Katie Sackhoff. Like same thing.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
I mean, and I gotta say this, and this is not a spoiler, but it really bugs me that every time she takes her helmet off, her hair is perfect. Like I have no hair, and I can take my hat off, and I will have some sort of hat hair. And she's walking around with this helmet on, and she takes it off, and it's like the hair is absolutely perfect. I don't think that's the way that it's supposed to be, but hey, what do I know, right?
That's the movies.
Yeah. Listen, it's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to sit back and enjoy it. And for the most part, I did. I'm not going to lie. Um, but I think the other seasons were stronger. No doubt about that. I think Andor was stronger. But, I also liked Obi-Wan. I liked Obi-Wan. I know a lot of people didn't, but
they had to fight through a checkpoint they could have walked around.
Well, hey, it happens. As a skateboarder, we go over things that we could just ride around. So it's the same thing, right? So quickly, because today was the series finale, we're not going to do any spoilers, but I just want to ask, what are your feelings on the series ending of Picard?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it hit every note it needed to hit. It filled the gap. It wrapped up the TNG cast thing really nicely. It ended on every emotional note that you could really want, and it's better than any of the TNG movies, in my opinion. The whole season is in total. It's the best Trek that's come out in 20 years, in my opinion. And it was really well done, but I'd still rate it maybe that 7.5, 8, because I've got my nerd nitpicks on things too.
I have to say, I know I mentioned it 2 weeks ago when we did the show. The way they brought the whole cast together, it wasn't from episode 1 or 2, it was throughout the series, and I thought everyone was really brought together pretty organically. And to me, I think that takes a lot to do something like that, to organically bring all these people together who's, we watched for 7 seasons, watched for too many movies. I will not say that it's better than First Contact, but that's my favorite Star Trek movie. But again, I think it had to end with the Borg. If you want to say it had to end with Q, but they already ended the Q. But I think the Borg encapsulated everything that was the Next Generation. So
yep.
I like the way that they did it. I even like the way they kind of explained. And again, I don't want to get into spoilers if anyone hasn't seen it yet. That it's just like, it was an interesting take on it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, seeing them on screen together, and I mentioned to you before, seeing Riker and Worf, just their chemistry, and listen, I want a half-hour buddy satire show on Paramount Plus of Riker and Worf, and considering he dated Deanna for a while, you could do such a good one. You could do like a reverse Three's Company.
Yeah.
Just a total satire. They were just so. Again, they were, the chemistry between them, I think, was the best, other than Riker and Picard. Because to me, they're like one and the same. Those two actors work so well off each other. And I've watched stuff with Jonathan Frakes where they were talking about directing him, and he said he's the easiest person to direct because I would stop him and he'd go, "You need me to do this?" And he's like, "Exactly." I didn't have to tell him.
Well, it's because he's a real jazz musician, so much so that Fish invited him over to be on one of their albums. And they gave him this really complicated piece to do, and he screwed it up. So they put him on the cutting room floor, but they put him in another track that's titled Riker's something or other.
Did you see about Inside Me?
Yeah, I did.
That's what I thought too.
But Jonathan Frakes and Michael Dorn killed it this season. I thought that both of them were superb, and they elevated everyone around them to perform even better, because that Raffi character, I didn't much care for in the second season. And this was a much better performance from her.
They could have written her off, and I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
mean, I think she worked really well in the season. And again,
Yep.
it kind of goes to what I was saying. I think on the Monday show when we got into talking about like the Star Wars, like I didn't think we needed a Han Solo movie, but I think it worked. Like there was nothing in the Han Solo movie that I watched and went, oh my god, you ruined everything. Like I think it filled in a lot of gaps, but I didn't need the gaps filled in. You
Yep.
could have taken anyone and done, and had how she was in this series. But it was nice that they brought her back and Michael Dorn. I mean, the guy was on
Yep.
chips. He was on chips. I mean, but anyway, you guys didn't tune in just to hear about us complain about Mando and gush about Picard. And again, let me tell you something. I would not have said anything like that years ago because Star Wars, to me, is still the greatest saga of all time. It's the greatest trilogy of all time. It's never going to get knocked off. But
At Lord of the
you
Rings.
know what it is today. What?
Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry.
We're going to disagree. But I mean, and again, it feels like anytime anytime you do stuff like that, you feel like you're knocking something. It's not. It's like when you say a basketball player or hockey player is better than another guy, and it's like I'm not putting the other ones down. I'm just saying I think this one is better. So, but anyway, we came here to talk about Commando. Now, let me go over again. We're not here to break down little things. We're just here to talk about the movie. What was fun about it? What didn't make any sense about it? And let me tell you, there's a lot that did not make sense about this movie. And there was someone I think last week or 2 weeks ago we were talking about it said, yeah, you realize like this whole movie could not have taken place if they had cell phones.
Right. Yep.
It would have ended really, really quickly. But there's a lot that just did not make sense. But again, I absolutely love this movie. Oh boy. And here comes Tony. Nothing wrong with Mando's finale. Shut your filthy mouth. I'm going to guess you haven't watched it. No, Get to the Chopper is not from Commando. That is from Predator. So we'll talk about that when we finally get to Predator, which we have to eventually hit Predator, I say.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, Arnold was working on his catchphrase in this movie too, because I don't know. There's 3 movies with "I'll be back."
Yeah. They were really forcing that one, in my opinion. So let's just bring up the stream here, and let's first start off with some toys. All right. So I vaguely remember this, but look at it. I mean, that is like the Masters of the Universe Commando right there, except with an Uzi. And I didn't even find the Uzi. Did anyone have the Uzi squirt gun? It like smoked. It was great. I didn't have it, which was shocking because I had like every single gun. Everyone came to my house to play with the guns.
I had the Enertech ones, the ones that looked real.
Yep, I had the Enertech. I had the Enertech one that was their main one.
Mm-hmm.
A buddy had the big M16 that had the big tank.
Yeah,
everyone.
I thought the stupidest one they did was the RPG, the Enertech RPG water gun. That didn't ever make sense to me.
No. It was kind of like the people that got the laser tag, the laser tag, and they got the helmet, and you're like, so you're giving me more ways to hit you? Then we got this big 16-inch super action figure. Sarge, if you're still in here, do you have any of these at your store? That would definitely be pretty amusing to see something like this. But look at them. Of course, this is the iconic vest and everything, and it always seems to have an Uzi.
Hey, that was the thing, man. Everything in the 80s had to have that Uzi.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Seriously, it's such an awesome gun when it comes to being a kid. And so here is the Hot Toys, which I'm going to guess is way out of my price range. But he has the rocket launcher, which we would definitely get into the rocket launcher later on. Yep, look at that. I see. I need one of those, but I don't think I want to buy a Fortnite figure just to get that.
I got it on clearance for like $5.
Yeah. So yeah, if I walk by it, I'll probably buy it. Now this is the NECA, and I gotta say, this AK, I loved that gun. It just looked so sweet. I always wanted one like that. The AK always seemed like it was such a sweet gun, and then you realize that it was just meant to survive in sand and blow through trees.
Yep.
You got the rocket launcher. I don't know why the M60 is so much smaller, but whatever.
A little misproportion there.
A little. And then we have the tree, because
love the tree, love it.
And we will talk about this in a second, because this is such an iconic. I think every single one of us, has imitated this at one point or another.
Had to.
Hold on, let's see here. The Steven says I have that, but I don't have the MC Hammer pants. So which ones?
That was the first one you showed. That one.
Oh man. So is he the same size as? Because he looks like the generic Master of the Universe, right?
He looks a little bit larger, but
yeah,
only because the legs are different, I think.
Well, he's got his MC Hammer pants on. You don't know if he's in the squatty potty position. All right, so here we go, Commando. We got it right here, right over here. And again, just you see this and it's so iconic, and you're like, all right, this can be a pretty badass movie. Now he never is in this pose, not that I remember.
I remember taking my my Road Pig GI Joe and giving him the I think it was an M16 with a grenade launcher on the bottom from a weapons pack, and throwing it in there and calling him my Dutch or my Matrix or whatever.
Now, am I the only one that always asked the question, probably to the point that I annoyed the hell out of my dad, like, why isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger wrestle? He's big like Hulk Hogan. Why doesn't he wrestle? He should be a wrestler. And I didn't understand that wrestling is an actual talent and art form. So, I just thought, like, you're big muscular guys. But even at his biggest size, he's not like the size like, Hulk Hogan. They were much taller. He was really big for a bodybuilder, but all right, so let's get into when the movie starts. I got my notes here. I got my notes here. I have to kind of go through this. I spent a lot of time going through everything here. So.
Movie jumps right in with assassinations.
Okay, so Duke. I got to mention some things about these. Okay, so this here, now first off, it seems like all of these special forces guys were really old and out of shape. And the houses that on the street are huge. So I don't know what military they were working for.
Well, they went mercenary afterwards. That's where they made all their money, was in private contracting.
Did they? Because Bennett did.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of guys go out of special forces and they go to private contractors, and they still work with the governments that they were with before. So they have those connections, but they get paid a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they did.
So a couple things that just don't make sense here. It's the wrong day, and he hears the garbage truck.
And he doesn't.
The garbage truck is nowhere near his house. It's down. It's down the effing street. All right. He's rolling his stuff past other houses, and no one else hears it.
No one hears anything, man. I mean, what are they in Chicago that nobody hears anything like that?
He's the only one that can hear a truck. But hey, you know what? That may lead into something that Arnold says later on. So this here, he comes out there, boom. Hey, I thought you missed me. Don't worry, we won't. I could see how he gets taken out. Right?
Yeah.
He's running out there. He's not prepared. He's in his little wife's robe or whatever he's wearing. So they wipe him out. But then we get to this one. Now this one here is one of the ones that just it didn't make any sense to me. And I remember my dad making comments about this. So Cook gets in the car. He's feeling it. He's saying you don't want leather.
Oh
you
yeah.
want this vinyl because leather cracks and it's hot. All true statements.
Right.
All true statements. But then he turns it on and he's like, "Oh yeah, try that." Now I wasn't buying cars in 84, 85. Much too young, but I don't think they left keys in the car. I could be wrong.
Well, and they still didn't want you starting them up in the showroom floor.
Yeah, but then he does, and he's like, "Okay." Now,
but they did that in Cobra Kai too. They let the guy start the car up in. I think it was an homage to the Commando.
I'm gonna think that a special force guy, this badass that was part of, Arnold's team here, Matrix, he probably would have grabbed him and pulled him out. Now, in this day and age, you couldn't because it'd be considered racism. But what the thing that bothers me the most is that when he starts pulling it away, he jumps in front of the car.
Yeah.
Which I would be like,
I don't understand that.
Hey, you can drive out. I'm not getting in front of the car. So he gets taken out by getting hit by a car that is going maybe 10 miles per hour when it hits him. It just pushes him through the glass. And then he dies right there on the street. I don't understand that one.
Did we get to the mansion part yet? Because that looked like the Beverly Hills Cop mansion.
I believe it might be.
Okay.
I believe that it might be because they talked about that in something where they were filmed right around the same time.
Yeah, well, it would make sense.
Yeah,
and we started off with the one-liners already when we're killing people too.
Yeah,
so glad you could make it.
So this is I never understood this one as a kid. Okay, well, listen, I think we're gonna disagree on this because I think Bennett was actually pretty effing lame.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he was
the Freddie Mercury wannabe. I mean, he looked like Bazooka.
But I'll mention that in a second. But here, I never understood, and I thought, like, did they have someone have plastic surgery to look like him? Because you never see him jump off the boat.
Yeah.
Yet he's on the boat when it blows up, and he's looking at him, and it was like, I never understood exactly the explanation of how Bennett got away. Was it not really Bennett?
I think it was. I think there was just a little hatch or something, when the camera wasn't looking and he jumped off the boat or whatever. I don't,
Again, this is like 9-year-old me watching this, 10-year-old me wondering, like, how did he not? And here, I mean, he's sitting here with his radio control, and nobody sees him.
Yeah.
He stands out. He's got this suit and tie on. Nobody sees him. Nobody questions.
Nobody's paying attention. Nothing. No worries.
But this is how the movie starts, and then you get into the opening.
There we go.
And again, I apologize for any grainy, low-res pictures, but there's not a lot of high-res pictures online when you're looking for this stuff. Now, I can tell you that each and every single one of you watching this right now, probably still to this day, when you throw something on your shoulder, you act like you are walking down a forest with a tree holding a chainsaw. which I think I mentioned last was it 2 weeks ago that I'm like when I came in with my Sky Striker, I came in also with my lunchbox, and from that walk from my car to my door, I was I was Matrix right here, just walking as badass can be. But this is really the first time that this movie is made to show off his muscles. Because as we go through, we're going to find out there's a lot of shots just to show off how big and strong he is. So now, when I was doing this and I had saved a bunch of the pictures and I'm trying to put them in order, this one was really dark and really small, and I couldn't figure. I'm like, what the hell is that picture? And then I remembered, oh yes, that's when Jenny comes up behind him.
Yep. While he's chopping wood.
While he's chopping wood, and he sees her in her reflection.
I think he heard her too, but that's, you know.
Hold on. Handsome had never seen this movie, only parts, just stopping by to leave a like. Well, I appreciate that, but listen, I know people say, how can you have never seen any of the Indiana Jones? And even I almost asked myself that. But I swear this movie was on all the time on Saturday and Sunday. Right?
Yeah, I remember being on like every other Saturday or something.
I mean, I don't remember Indiana Jones being on all the time because it was a much more special. Let's be honest, there are better movies than this, and I've never even seen them.
That was the Friday night premiere at 7 a.m. on ABC's special movie broadcast.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so this is where he's like, this is when you're seeing like what a badass he really is. You know, he turns it, he sees her. You don't know who it is. You can just see that he obviously knows there's someone behind him. And then you see how fast he surrenders too.
Yeah.
And even when I rewatched the movie here, I still can't see the helicopter coming. I looked so many times.
But you can hear it.
Yes, but because I'm always like, I wear glasses now, so I should be able to see it.
You got to get the 4K version of it and watch it on the big TV. Then you can see it.
And you know what? I still want to know what was in the sandwich. No,
apparently nothing good.
Yeah, I skipped a lot. I skipped the ice cream. I really thought about reenacting this out with my daughter, like having her like smash ice cream in my face, but it was like,
oh yeah, no, that's not going to go well.
Yeah, my daughter smashed like the cone would probably smash up my nose. Let's see here, Richard Sampson. Quickly, I just joined the military when this movie was. When this movie aired, it was fantastic at the time. Playback value today, not so much. Wow, Richard, I gotta disagree with you, man. I watched this weekend and I loved every minute of it.
It's still a fun movie. It's still fun.
Not one person aims their weapon. Why did anyone waste the money on stocks on these weapons? Because no one ever used them. They just fired from the hip. But that is awesome, Richard. That is absolutely awesome. There's Jenny. Again, she's still the cute little kid. She's the who's the boss girl still. And here we get Colonel, or no, it's General Kirby. I always want to say Colonel Kirby.
Yeah, because it flows better.
What?
Because it flows better. Say Colonel Kirby.
It does. It does. Well, sometimes it's like, okay, wait a minute. It's like, okay, Matrix was a colonel and Dutch was a major.
Yep.
There's not a huge difference. I mean, I know there's a huge difference in the ranking, but it's like, they're both high-ranking officers for the most part that have a lot of time to work out. So they send these two guys in. The one guy that does survive a little bit, he has been in other things, I do believe.
Yeah, I've seen both of them in other stuff.
And they get wasted pretty quickly. Now,
oh yeah, like that. Those super special forces guys that get killed like that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Not super. They're just good, but just not as good as.
Well, the general said that he was the best of the best, not as good as you, but the best of the best. Well, so the best that they have right now.
Well, we were screwed, I guess. And the other thing that makes me laugh is the guy that kills him. He's not even aiming. He just throws the gun up. Like, he's already hidden in the trees.
He could have taken his time, picked him off.
Why would you have an automatic rifle if you were trying not to kill Matrix and Jenny? Wouldn't you want to snipe them out? Like, you want bullets just flying all over the place.
Right.
But they don't care. Again, we've seen him in Predator get shot in the arm, which kills everyone else, but it just grazes off of him.
Yep. Bullets mean nothing here then.
So here's the next scene is when he's talking about standing downwind. And this is when you find out he has a sense of smell like Wolverine, even though I had no idea who Wolverine was. I can tell you, I watched this movie for years and never understood that, so I got older and was like, okay, now I understand what he's saying.
Well, what gets me is that he's yelling for each other like a bunch of morons. Hey, I'm over here, but they're calling for each other. And then Matrix gets shot, and then he just wants to banter back and forth with the guy. Just kill each other already.
Now, I'm not really sure what the next slide is, but so he tells Jenny to go to her room, right? Okay. So he runs out to his shed, which I happened to come across and realize that the lock was already open. I didn't notice that, but I just happened to come across movie mistakes, and it showed that it was already open. But when he runs out, and I couldn't find a shot of it, he runs out a full-size door onto the roof. No balcony, no railing. He just jumps off it.
Yep.
What house has a door that just full-size door that leads onto the overhang roof with no balcony or anything? There's no chairs set up there. Nothing. Just this nice house. And, hey, you know what? We need a door right here.
Movie prop houses in Colorado or wherever.
Is that where this was filmed? Colorado?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay. So then we get to this guy. Now, come on. He's holding the "I love you, Daddy." like what else could he do? But he looks at him, tells him pretty much what they're gonna do, and I would say, would you say this is the first one-liner of the movie?
No, there were a couple before that, but yeah, we can kind of go there.
Okay. This is, and I mean, how many times has someone said, right? And you're like, wrong. And you say it like in your best Arnold, which maybe isn't the best. Yeah, Anthony, I have to agree. He, the soldiers sucked. All right. They were true stormtroopers.
No, they were Disney stormtroopers.
Well, I don't remember any of the stormtroopers ever being that good.
Well, the ones in the original series were feared, and they could actually hit a couple of things.
Yeah, when they used the only time they ever used the stun gun, because it was a big. They couldn't beat Ewoks.
Hey, but they burned the heck out of those Jawas.
And we got to discuss that too, because we have to do that. We are, and I want to do like a 4-person panel talking
Yeah.
about troops when.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yes, because I rewatched it and it was so awesome.
Oh, it is.
All right, so there was a lot of issues here. Okay, there are a lot of issues that I found in this. So somehow during this process, they were able to completely rip out the cables for the spark plugs, and not like just one. They had like a whole bunch taken out. Again, we're able to pop open the hood. There wasn't that much time that had passed. So he sees these cars going down this windy hill, and they're taking their sweet old time. He jumps in this, he's got no brakes. Why didn't he have brakes? It didn't make any sense. Then he cut the brakes.
Well, the spark plugs don't work. The car doesn't work. Right?
That's right.
I mean, he can't start it, so none of that other stuff's going to work. I'm surprised the steering even worked. I mean, look at it. It's a Ford Bronco. Those things turn like, I mean, you got to crank that wheel around with a little knob on it to get that thing to turn.
I'm just glad it's not a white Bronco.
Oh, yeah, well, true enough. Then there'd be helicopters and cops chasing them.
So he goes he pushes it down, and now he's watching, and they're all watching it. And somehow he's able to time it after he passes them. Now, mind you, he's going straight down this big hill.
With no brakes.
And they're going down the street, and yet he's able to time it to run into one. He should have been well past them by about 10 minutes at the rate they were going down, but that would not have worked into the into it. So he gets in a fight. He beats up about 4 or 5 of them before they're finally able to hold him down. And
there's a lot of bad editing in this whole section here.
So this is where we see chainmail armor Bennett. And I
We're gonna call him Freddie. Can we call him Freddie? I mean, that's Freddie Mercury.
Let's see here. Bennett was great in Mad Max.
Yeah, that's one of his better roles for sure.
Bennett was awesome in Weird Science. So, okay, Bennett didn't look intimidating at all. He looked like an overweight Freddie Mercury. So, did you ever hear? Have you heard the story about what happened with this?
I don't remember it, but I did hear it at one point.
So, he was not the person that was supposed to play Bennett.
Right.
Again, this isn't what we were planning on doing. So, and I watched an interview with him a while back, and so there was another guy who is a well-known actor. He was supposed to play Bennett. This costume was already tailor-made for that guy.
Right.
He was brought in and literally right away started. So he was forced in to fit into this, which explains why it does not fit him.
Yeah.
And he talked about it, and he's like, they didn't have any wardrobe. This thing was completely made for an actor. I believe they said it was bigger than him, like taller. He's like, and that's why you see it hang and kind of sit the way that it does. Now, as a kid, I remember thinking this guy was like just big, beefy, and boy, was I wrong. I am more muscular than him, all right? That's not saying very much. But he has this big tranquilizer gun that he just blows right into his stomach. And you're like,
boom.
And again, I don't even know what happens to all these other guys, because these are all the guys that are doing the work are all like U.S. soldiers, right?
Yeah.
All like U.S. citizens, but he's not in the U.S. He's on some Cobra Island or something. Then we wake up and we have. I'm sorry. I know this movie came out first, but I cannot look at I cannot look at him and not see the dad from Clueless. As I mentioned, I think it was at PNC, I believe, that said uh, people are not willing to admit they love Clueless. I'm sorry, I love that movie. And in Clueless, when he looks at the guy that's taking his daughter out, who is actually gay, who you don't realize at the time,
Right.
and he says what? I have a 45 and a shovel. I doubt anyone will miss you. Like to this day, like
it's a great line.
When my daughter starts dating, I will have rehearsed that so many times. I will wake up. You guys hear that?
Yeah.
Come on, buddy. Before you scratch up my door because I feel the need to come in. Hi. You want to say hi to everyone? Right, say hi. All right, there he is. All right, buddy.
What's up, man?
You leave me alone this whole time, and now this is what we do, huh? All right, go lay down. All right? So pretty much at this point, they're telling him, hey, this is what you're going to do. You're going to... Because they can't have anyone else assassinate this person. It has to be Matrix.
Has to be. Yeah.
And we have your daughter, and she's going to be perfectly fine. Now, this guy's like the greatest soldier of all time, right? The greatest special forces guy. Whether it be a SEAL, a Marine, a soldier. And he's supposed to fall for this.
Right.
He's supposed to fall for it.
You know, whatever.
Again, things I don't really believe. And I'm sorry, like this guy is that gap in that tooth in his teeth just always make me laugh. And thank God he had the hat, or else you might have noticed the nosebleed when the inevitable happens.
And then here comes T-Bird.
I don't even remember what his name was. I looked it up because I had to find him. So we got Sully, we got Cook. It doesn't matter. So
T-Bird looks so small compared to those guys, man. Sully's tiny.
He's like my height. He's like 5'4", I think. Because I was just watching something. Where he was talking about this and everything. But it's funny. Like he's walking, he's trying to have a conversation with them. Saying that hey, we were in the army together. Which I'm thinking, I think they're two different armies.
You're right.
And the fact that Hightower here is trying to act tough to Arnold, we'll just call him Hightower. If you guys don't know who Hightower is, come on. And you can see that obviously Matrix does not look enthused. But hey, listen, right here, we're looking at Sully. And man, he's like the Warriors. He's just looking for some booty out there, man. He doesn't care what's going on. He knows he can get a little bit of action. Let's see here.
You're a funny guy, Sully. This is why I will kill you last.
John Matrix looked like he was ready to go to war. All the other ex-Green Berets looked pathetic. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. There's a short guy he threw off the cliff is a great actor. And we're gonna get to that soon.
Well, and we missed the I'll be back, Bennett.
Here, Weems Hauser was supposed to be played Bennett. Exactly.
Yep.
And again, it was like when he told the story, like it's real. I mean, I like the fact he was very. He's one of those people that loves the loves the lore of this movie. It's just this cult classic. It is weird calling an Arnold movie a cult classic, but it really is. I mean, you take Arnold away, it's not a really good movie, but it is damn amusing. So here we get to the plane, Now, this may shock you guys, but there's not a lot of different images that you can get for Commando. So,
So how about we just call that guy baggage, because that's what he calls him. Uses a blanket and a pillow to kill his extra baggage.
the fact that he as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, so they have this guy's daughter. He pretty much knows that they're going to kill her, no matter what. And he's just like, can I get a blanket? I'm just cold.
Well, that's not what that was about. But also, he learned something very important here. He learned he had 11 hours before that plane touched ground.
Yes.
And that he'd get information, the bad guys.
And that is a very important part of the movie. And again, if we had cell phones, this movie would have ended in about 12 minutes.
Yep.
Well, I take that back. Jenny would have been killed in about 12 minutes. We would have had another hour and a half of him slaughtering people.
Yep.
But this, in my opinion, is one of the most unique deaths of all time. It's
I don't know. I like the one in Daredevil when Colin Farrell kills the old lady with the peanut.
It has been a long time since I've seen that movie.
He just puts up the peanut on the thing, and she's snoring with her mouth open, and he flicks the peanut in her mouth and kills her.
I vaguely remember. But here comes another amazing one-liner. Please don't bother my friend. He's dead tired.
He's dead tired.
And then he just gets up, and if anyone has been on an airplane, they do not let you move around. All right? I don't care how big you are. The stewardess strength comes out, and they just sit you down.
But I'm ill sick.
Yes. So he goes to the bathroom, but knows exactly how to get into the luggage claim. The dog scares him. And he climbs down onto the end of the wheel, and he's just holding on. I'm glad no traffic control people or anything saw him. But luckily for him, it's swamp areas without crocodiles or alligators or whatever.
Right.
Which he probably would have beat him up anyway. So he hangs down, boom, jumps down, and then once again we see him, check his watch, set it to make sure exactly how much time he has.
And Sully reports in the bird has flown cargo aboard.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's got 11 hours.
And now this is, and this here is where the clueless dad is talking to Bennett. And he's like, it is you who is scared. And that's when he tells him, that's right, because I'm smart.
Smart, yep.
This is when you realize, I think we all had already realized what a badass Matrix was. And the guy just jumped off an airplane. He killed a guy with an elbow. Well, he broke his nose with an elbow and then killed him doing chiropractic work. Which I have to say, I'm obsessed with watching chiropractic things. And
I have all this statistical data on all that stuff. I've got books on the statistical data. Yeah, it's funny. We should talk about that sometime.
But yeah,
those videos would be even funnier.
I'm fascinated with them, and I remember I was talking to a chiropractor before I had ever seen one about being scared of my neck, and they're like, "Do you realize how much pressure it would take for me to snap your neck?" And I went, "No," and he's like, "It takes a lot."
No comment. No comment. I have a professional license to protect.
So
I'll show you the statistics sometime.
Oh, okay. Well, that's. But I grabbed this shot just because it's the guy from Clueless.
He plays the slimiest slime balls ever. Every movie he's in, he plays some kind of slime ball. It's great.
And he is also Carla's ex-husband.
That's true.
Which is probably maybe the slimiest person
Yep.
ever on TV.
Yep.
All right. Richard here says, I think this movie is great. It just doesn't hold up like Predator or Total Recall. You know what? I would agree 100%. And that's why I said, like, if you take Predator and you put someone else on there, it's awesome. Total Recall is an actually good movie. This is just an action movie with Arnold running around. And again, if Arnold wasn't in it, I don't think you'd say a damn word about it, right? They just
no. I don't know. I think Total Recall may have been better if they had cast somebody besides Arnold in it. I think it would have gotten more traction.
I can see that. I could see it being maybe a better movie. Well, again, like if you took Total Recall and you put Tom Cruise in it, does it really change it? Other than the acting would be better.
Well, I think that might change it.
You kind of have something like Minority Report.
Yeah.
You know, which I mean, I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. I think Minority Report is awesome. So here we have Sully, and he is infatuated with
Ray Dong Chong, the woman who's been in so many other movies and is best known for being the scout that found Chris Pratt in a Bubba Gump's shrimp in Maui.
Okay, so you mentioned to me that you got to explain that to me.
So she's an actor. She's been in like 70 some odd movies or something like that. But, you know, she wanted to make a business out of everything. And so she was at a Bubba Gump Shrimp in Maui and found this waiter who was working there. And then it turned out his name was Chris Pratt, and she liked him. So she cast him in a movie that she directed. And that was his first starring role.
Really?
Yep.
So then she would be the one that is indirectly the reason that Chris Pratt is now married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how many other people she represented, but I think Chris was the first person that she represented.
That is very interesting. But then again, I found that Chris Pratt is now married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter.
Yeah, Tony, you're right. She's also Tommy Chong's daughter. Yes.
Yes. I saw something with that with her, and I kind of forgot about that. But I'm not high on, so those movies have not really interested me all that much. He liked him at the Roxbury. But this is where he's just totally he's harassing
slime ball.
Yes, you really see what a slime ball he is. Like he's harassing her. She's giving every excuse to the point where she's just like, "Listen, I don't like you. I don't like you." Once again, proving that women have an issue with short guys. I stand by it. I mean, if he would have been.
Now she did marry C. Thomas Howell. How tall is he?
I'm trying not to go there. Did she marry C. Thomas Howell in real life?
I think that was her first husband. Yeah, they I don't know how long they lasted, but she left him and married somebody else later.
So was that when he was black or when he was white? I'm sorry. That movie we have to talk. Like, how did that movie ever even get done? It is. Oh my god! It is. All right, so this is where Arnold obviously he sees that. Hey, you know what? She is. He's like following her. He's infatuated with her, and this is where he rips the seat out of the car. And even as a kid, I thought that was some sort of amazing strength, considering seats are made not to rip out of cars in car accidents.
Right, yeah. And what the hell was the point of him ripping out the seat? Especially because when he gets in the drive-in, he doesn't do anything to the seat adjustment.
I remember watching the scene in the parking lot and being able to see the cameraman's reflection in the Porsche. Someone missed that during the editing. Yeah, I meant to go through the movie mistakes.
Yeah.
because it actually pulled up a couple pictures. Because I actually found something out that I always wondered what it was. I didn't realize what it was, and it is in here, coming up really soon.
Well, and I can't figure out, one, why he really kidnaps her, and two, why he ripped the seat out of the car. But they end up at the Starcourt Mall from Stranger Things, so we'll get there in a second.
Well, because well, he did. Did he really kidnap her?
Yeah.
I mean, she could have just. When she, so as they're following him, now as she's driving, and again he rips the. He could have just gotten the back seat, right?
Mm.
I don't know, like if that really made it that much lower.
Now, did somebody say one gigantic MFer?
Yeah. Oh, don't I have that? I have to agree. She was very, very cute. Not so much anymore, but hey, are any of us? And as they're driving, following him, she asks if he's going to kill her. And he says,
Yep.
no. And she goes, I assume you wouldn't tell me if you were going to. And he replies, yes, I would. Or sure, I would.
Why not? Why wouldn't I tell you?
So here it is. So they go to the mall. He basically tells her to go in there. The first thing she does is see an armed security guard in the bar. Again, even as a kid, it didn't make any sense because, we always went to the mall with our parents, and I don't remember seeing that many security guards. And she just happens to see a security guard.
This mall has an army of security guards, so maybe this is right after the Starcourt incursion with all the monsters in there, and so they had to up their security to reopen the mall.
So this is the same mall as.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
It just had similar elements that reminded me of that mall.
It would be around the same time.
All right.
They go in there, like the security guard instantly comes out and looks. Like that wasn't a telltale that she was probably talking to a security guard.
Oh no, of course not. That's just normal.
Sully just happens to notice her. Out of all the people in this bar, just happens to notice she must have followed me miles while we were driving. As he's getting his dope, was that what he was getting?
Yeah, probably.
In a big suitcase of money.
Not suspicious at all.
Which opens up right away.
Yep, just all over the place.
So he gets a security guard. He comes out, and then he calls the other security guard, and he's like, "Hey, I think I might need help with this guy. He's one, or he's a pretty big guy. I don't think I can take him alone." Yep. Which causes that
some help.
Which causes that guy to say, "You want to go see me kick some ass?" Which that guy's like scrawny, all right? He was actually like he was the black version of Sully. Like he was like about the same size. And then when he sees him, he's like, hey, one gigantic motherfucker.
Yep.
So we watch Matrix beat the shit out of every single security guard.
Yep.
All they have is sticks. And he beats the shit out of what?
He rips the frame of the phone booth off.
Well, that's when he jumps to it.
Yeah.
I was like, he swing to this?
He jumped over there or something. Yeah.
I don't know
how he got there, but
he jumps on the elevator because he has to get that quarter out of Cindy's purse, right? It was Cindy, right?
Yep.
You got to get the quarter out of her purse. And listen, if any of you have been in a relationship with a woman and she says, "Hey, go on my purse," you can't find shit. Let alone porn. All right. Let's be honest. If this was real, he would still be there trying to find it in that purse. All right. He'd be pulling out every single other thing that you can imagine.
Well, and meanwhile, mall cops are dying left and right. I mean, you're getting massacred out there.
There was the drug dealers shoot someone, and then he gets shot. Sully shoots someone. Arnold swings across onto the top of the elevator. And I always like this because Lakeside Mall here in Michigan had an elevator very similar. It
Yep.
was open. It was open, so you could see everything. And when you went down, it was like right in front of a fountain. So of course, I would always look at it and think like, I could swing to that.
Everybody thought that. We saw Commando. We knew we wanted to get on top of that elevator at some point.
He gets in here, pulls his gun out. Now I'm looking at that, and it's not a revolver, so it has at least what would you say? At least 8 bullets in it.
Maybe.
He fires one shot. Arnold starts shaking it, and because he's shaking it, he cannot fire anymore. And then he proceeds to rip it out of
raw.
He literally does the torture rack, the Lex Luger torture rack with it. Yep. Flips it over. Sully runs out. I don't know why he can't catch this guy. And in the meantime, Cindy does push an actual cop down, down the stairs. That probably would have eventually got her arrested.
Yeah, right.
But hey, minor details, right? Well, let's see here. The security guards had loaded weapons, and none of them except one decided to finally pull his gun. No, I think you're wrong.
No, there's more than that, I think, because when the drug dealer started shooting, everybody started shooting.
No, the security guards had nightsticks. The actual cops had guns.
Okay.
If you look, you can see badges. Because I always thought the same thing. Like, why don't they, why don't they pull their guns out rather than the nightsticks? All the security guards, they were dressed differently. The guy that Cindy pushes down the steps is like the only cop, and she goes, "No!" And then he says, when he lands, he's like, "Stop!" So here's the next picture. All right, so this was something that until I saw this the other day, I didn't realize. I had always seen this thing fall off. I always thought it was like his wallet. And it turns out that it is the side mirror.
Side view, yeah.
I didn't realize it because I kept looking to see what it was, and it looks flat. I always thought it was his wallet that like fell out of the back of his pocket or something, which is like big deal,
Right.
Although he does show her later on. So he takes off, and as you can see, the side mirror is back. But listen,
he hits the guy with the freaking car, and he gets up. I'm okay.
So before this, Cindy just happens to pull up right to where he's at. She's had time to run to her car, get in it, run to right where it's at. No, I take it back. He runs to Cindy's car, takes off. She just happens to run out of the mall to exactly where she's at.
Yeah.
And then he stops for her to get in.
Yeah,
She jumps in the passenger side where we know there is no seat.
There's no seat. Yep. So that's really comfortable. Yep.
And they start this car chase. Now, even as a young kid, and when he's chasing and they get on some straightaway road, I just remember going, that car is not going to catch that Porsche.
Nope.
I don't care what they've done to it. And this is a kid. That Porsche was going well past them. And they weren't always in traffic. But he's up there. He's smashing against it. He finally runs him off the road. Cindy and Matrix run into a pole or tree.
Which would have thrown them both from the car. Neither one of them were wearing seatbelts.
And let's say even if Arnold had the seatbelt on, we know Cindy didn't because there was no seat. That was left at the airport.
Right.
and after they hit, and they just go forward a little, and they were doing like 100 miles an hour. And as we all know, doing 100 miles an hour to a complete stop never is bad, right?
Yeah.
He grabs her and he says, "Are you all right?" And she says, "I think I'm dead."
I think I'm dead. Yeah, you should be.
He goes, "You're all right," and then he just gets out. And then here he continues. He starts to beat the shit out of Sully. Um, and so many good one-liners. Sully's telling him to fuck off. No, he says "get fucked" if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm sorry if I've done something horrible, and this man, hell, if I did something nice, and this man, this huge, gigantic man, is manhandling me like this, I'm gonna be as polite as possible. Right? Like, he walks him over, and
gravity.
yes. So this is where he tells him, you know, he hangs him over, and anyone that's ever worked out and actually really worked out, and they've gotten strong, you realize to hold a weight, let's say of 25 pounds, even like this, is not easy. Let alone to hold someone.
Well, I mean, maybe he does a lot of stein holding contests. You ever done that where they get you to hold a stein, and whoever holds it the longest gets to get the free beers?
What size stein are they using?
They're using big ones, man. I mean, they're like 48 ounces of beer. You got to hold it up there in a big glass mug.
I'm gonna guess Sully is probably about 130 tops.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Tops. And that's just going on how I was when I was before I really worked out. But either way, this guy would not have been holding me like this, especially with his weak arm.
With my weak arm.
Yes. When he talks about gravity, gravity also works with him too. All right. Like maybe he had some action force figure stands that he was pegged into, and that's why he wasn't falling over.
There you go. That's it. Yep.
But luckily, he was able to find the keys to the motel that he was staying at. He shakes him out.
You're missing lines here. You're missing them. I lied. What'd you do to his Sully? I let him go.
We haven't got there yet. But yeah, this is when he tells him, "Remember when I promised to kill you last?"
Oh yeah, I lied.
And he's all like, "Oh, that's right, Matrix, you did." Like, I don't know why that mattered. That's when he tells him, "I lied," and he drops him. Now, he drops pretty far. He never really hits anything, and by the looks of this picture, yeah, it's not a straight drop.
No. He's hitting a bunch of stuff on the way down.
Yes.
It's a messy one.
Which would have been more entertaining. Think about it. This might have been the same cliff that Dolomite jumps off in the Human Tornado butt naked. Yeah, Matrix had some superhuman strength. In all honesty, he did. I'm just saying.
Hey, we learned that he had that strength when he was holding up the freaking tree.
You know what? I gotta say, you know what? Everything that I said I have to take back, because he did just walk down. Listen, I can't even walk down a path like that without twisting an ankle these days. And he was carrying a 2,000-pound tree on his shoulder while still carrying the chainsaw. And then what did he do right after that? He actually cut it up and was chopping it in half. Like, there was no rest for him, right?
Nope.
It's an early morning workout. All right, so this is where, if you've never noticed this, it's pretty clear as day. So he pushes the car over. This is where he talks to Sydney. Says,
I noticed that.
Yeah. Talks to Cindy, she says, "What happened to Sully? I let him go."
Nope.
She says, I don't have a car, you don't have a car now. Pushes it over, drives fine, spins around, takes off, and the side of it is completely fixed. And I remember my dad pointing this out to me.
Yep.
I remember my dad pointing this out to me clear as day, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that doesn't make any sense." again, as a kid, I didn't realize what made sense and what didn't make sense. I just assumed it was the same car. So they go to the hotel. No one's there. They're rifling through all kinds of stuff. They hear the knock at the door. He pulls open her blouse, right?
Yep.
Because, you know, Sully's not going to let her stay dressed, right? And let's be Cook did not seem too interested, all right? He was not interested in the threesome or anything, all right?
Nope.
This was not Worf, all right? He turns the water on. She's smiling at him. And then he comes in and Matrix shuts the door, and then the fight breaks out.
Bam.
Hold on. Anthony says,
Yeah, that was
walk
good.
down the path with Punk in a fireman's carry. I don't know about that, man. You might stumble a little. Although, hey, you know what? You do some stuff. So here we get the fight. All right? And I just love this picture. Because he just looks all like... I just couldn't figure out this face. Like it was like the perfect screenshot here. Let's see. Bruce is joined us. It's definitely rough around the edges for a Schwarzenegger movie in the mid '80s. I don't know. I think it's actually pretty good for like that era. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to get into Command or not Cobra, with Sylvester Stallone, that's again. It's been years since I've seen that. And Skirty has joined. Hey all, nice to see Allison in here. He gets it real big. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Oh my god. He looks like E Honda from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Yes, he does. It's been a long time, but man. So they get in this fight, right? And then he tells him this Green Beret is gonna kick your ass. If I remember correctly, this is when he said he eats Green Berets for breakfast.
Yeah.
Wonderful fight.
Hey, then she's got to jump in and say, "I can't believe this macho bullshit."
Yes. He pulls out a gun. He fires a couple shots.
6.
What did he? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he fires 6 shots while fighting in here.
Yep.
Arnold kicks him through the door, and I believe this is probably the first time many of us had seen boobs.
And she also says, then she says, "These guys eat too much red meat."
Yep. Which still to this day I've never heard makes people angry like this. But he kicked in the other room. Those two were not going to stop having sex. There are people literally fighting and shooting next to them, and they were not going to stop having sex. And I have seen more than enough movies and TV shows where two people had just had sex. They're intimate. They are a couple, and yet she's instantly covered up over the sheets. Not this girl. She's hanging up. They're bouncing around. It's like probably the first time you feel awkward with your parents because you're like, oh my God, why are they showing this? But they didn't stop for nothing. Those gunshots were going off. And that's when he pulls out the gun and fires the shots and realizes it's empty.
Yep. Click, 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 click.
Which the fight doesn't last much longer as Arnold punches him. And we get the... Okay, so here's the click, click. And as you can see in the mirror here, this is where the two couples were like, hey, we don't care what's going on next door. And then we have Cook
dead.
Just boom, which even to this day, I think is an awful, awful way to die.
Yep.
I still think that this is one of the most unique ways that the guy gets killed on screen. Now there are more unique ones for sure as this movie continues. So now
They
it's like,
steal the car, and she finds the receipt.
yes. So we'll take Cook's car because he doesn't need it anymore. And no police get called. And here is where she realizes where they need to go because it's fuel, right?
Yep.
And luckily, she's just training to be a pilot.
Of course. Yeah.
She's just she's training to be a pilot. I mean, who isn't, right?
Well, I got my license when I was 16. I don't know about you, but that was a thing for me.
I guess, what? To be honest, maybe it might actually work. She is a flight attendant.
Yeah.
So okay, maybe she was. They go there. They find the. They find everything that they need, right?
Yep. Yep.
She finds out where, where they're keeping it, and
yeah, and then we see it, right? We see the drug factory.
Yes.
And then we see Barney Ross's plane, the one that Sylvester Stallone uses in The Expendables.
Wait, what is that?
The seaplane that they have in the background that they're sitting there.
Yeah.
It's the same type of airplane that Sylvester Stallone uses in The Expendables.
I've never seen The Expendables.
Oh man, those are great.
I know. And to me, it's what I always wanted, but they haven't gotten there yet because they have to go get weapons.
Oh yeah.
So they go get the weapons. Okay, so
he just rips the lock off.
Well, he knows exactly where it's at. So I'm assuming he still has to be around his house, right? Why did he just go home? He had a whole arsenal at his home. Now, I didn't think about this until I was watching it this weekend.
Well, we don't know how far away the airport was from where he actually lived because remember, they drugged him, kidnapped him, took him somewhere else, woke him up, charged him with the thing, threw him on an airplane. We don't know how far away this is from his home.
But he knew exactly the weapons place, where the weapons were stored. So he goes, gets a shopping cart because I'm sure every type of gun store just has shopping carts.
Has shopping carts, yeah. Well, here in Texas they do. You know they do, right?
All right. Well, but he smashes through the wall, and like no one's gonna hear this. Again, no one's on the street. Once again, no one's on the street.
Well, and there are no alarms either.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is just like the Warriors. No one's on the street. Everyone, everything's empty. They steal all this stuff, and then the cops are right there. Silent alarms, obviously.
Yep.
But he already loaded up the convertible that no one saw, and she must have driven away when she heard the cops that came in without sirens.
Mm-hmm.
So then she kind of pulls up next to them. They think she's a hooker. Again, no one on the street whatsoever.
Oh, when he's taking the weapons, yeah, because that drug sheen factory happened right before they broke into the place to get it. Secret door. But he starts grabbing shells of stuff. He doesn't take the boxes of ammunition. He just grabs some shells and throws them in there.
Well, he needs to go through more weapons. He needs to throw more guns down. And luckily, when she asks him, "What is that?" Thank God, or else she would have known it was a rocket launcher. Then he opens up, which I'm assuming the rocket launcher. When you buy rocket launchers at the gun stores, they're already loaded.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they're preloaded, And he also notices that there's only 5 hours left. So he's got 5 hours before that plane lands.
Yeah. So she reads the instructions, but can't read that it's backwards. The, the giant handle at the end doesn't give it away.
Hey, there's usually a point this end towards enemy, right? I mean, Claymore's on there, right? I mean, there's got to be something on there.
Usually there's a thing that says stand back.
Right, yeah.
Go vehicles there are.
No step, stand back. Yeah.
Now this here, I would assume if you ever had the whale for G.I. Joe, when this thing eventually broke off the whale, you wanted this to be this rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Because it was four rockets. So she fires one the wrong way, turns it around really quick. Again, thank God there's no one else on the street anywhere. Fires it at the police truck, which knocks it over, where he's just able to get out unharmed.
I mean, look, the eyepiece isn't even on the other side. You can see the eyepiece over there.
Yes, which I never noticed till literally just now when I'm looking, going, where's the eyepiece? Hold on 1 second. I gotta yell for some children.
And there's so many bloopers in this movie, but it's so funny, and it sets this stuff up. Honestly, when you look at the rocket launcher, you wonder about that backside, because it almost looks like it should come out that way, but nope, there's a little door and a flap.
Yeah, like that rocket launcher there that you have is like perfect. Hold on, buddy. Eventually, when a kid will come, right? I know they can hear me. I yelled. Right? I really hate AirPods now.
Yeah. Bill Paxton.
Yes. So I think he's in 3 of Arnold's movies. He's in Terminator.
Yep.
And he is also in True Lies.
True Lies, yeah.
True Lies, he actually played a pretty pivotal character.
Yeah.
So that's why I threw him in, because you had to see young Bill Paxton, which, you know what? I feel bad because, like, when I heard that he died leaving, like, he just had surgery, you kind of just assumed it was probably, like, plastic surgery, like, big deal. But then you find out he had some sort of procedure and went bad. Like, he went in to take care of some stuff. So, but they get on the plane that she doesn't know how to fly because it's older than she is. She can't get it started. These people
let me just get this straight too. She's used to flying single-engine Cessnas, which have little wheels and a triangle-based landing gear. And now she's flying a freaking seaplane with 2 propeller props, and
that only starts because Arnold smashes it.
Yeah, he does the Fonz, man. Boom, start.
The Jeep of bad guys, because there's no one else on these docks at all.
No.
See him, and they just start firing at him. And he pulls the Uzi out and just starts shooting. They can't hit anything, but luckily he can hit them, and somehow knocks them off into the water. They get, they get in the air, and this is where we find out that they're trying to contact them, because they don't know who it is. So they fly below the radar. Now,
2 hours now. 2 hours left.
Yeah, so this is where there's a huge hole in this movie. After they land in the water, he tells her to contact them and reach out to General Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just reach out to General Kirby in the first place? Because they sent the whole fucking army to help you.
Yep.
But we get there, and I couldn't find any. I mean, here they show him. He's fine. He's rowing the boat. He's completely loaded up. It was dark, but now it's light. I don't know how far he rowed, but it went from dark to night, dark to light.
Oh, we also got to that point where they decided they weren't going to kill the girl because Bennett wants to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ray Dong Chong says, "Did anyone ever tell you have a lot of hostility?"
Yeah, I had all these notes, but now I'm like going through this here.
It's a canoe with wings.
So you see him load up, and it's seriously like who of us did not act this scene out 100 times? You know, you see him, he's zipping up his flak jacket, and he's throwing grenades on, and then he throws his arm up. And now again, the rowing scene that I don't have a picture of, but again, it goes back to, all right, let's show this guy's muscles off because they were glistening. All right, I know it's supposed to be sweat, but we know it was baby oil. Okay, right? Just like every other pro bodybuilder, it was baby oil, and it's glistening off. He gets here, and here he throws this up so you can clearly see this arm of his. Like,
Look at my bicep.
Yes, why would he be holding the gun like this? He's going into an active war zone.
I want to look cool before I go into battle.
So he starts off, trying to be silent, setting explosions all over. No one notices. Now, I don't really know why he had to have the blackface on, because he's not in the jungle, right?
It's nighttime. He's just trying to hide a little bit, but only part of him.
Yes, that's. I mean, against a predator, I kind of understand. Doing the Rambo load up. What was first?
Rambo.
Was it? I've never seen Rambo. I've never seen Rambo.
You've never seen that one either? Come on, man.
I've never seen any of them. I've seen enough of it to know that all the guy wanted to do was walk through the city, and they wouldn't let him.
Nope. Had that asshole cop trying to stop him.
All he wanted to do, and it was like Super Mario Brothers when you ran off and you went back to the point you went. This is what I know. In Rambo, he just wanted to walk through the city. Why wouldn't you take him to the end of the others? Like, why wouldn't you just take him through town if you didn't want him walking through there? Wouldn't that have been a lot easier?
Well, he's a vagrant. He's probably going to stick around for a day or two.
Oh, again, if someone was walking, they just want to walk through Dallas. Wouldn't you just say, okay, well, instead of taking you back to where you started, I'll take you to where you want to go, and then you can be on your way outside of my city.
Yep. I mean, that would make the most sense, but, logic.
Logic.
Bullies be bullies.
Listen, I'm going to have to watch it because I have that Rambo figure on order. So.
Oh, you got that one? Nice.
The 6-inch figure.
Yeah. That looks cool.
I mean, it's on order. Will I keep it? I don't know. But it looks awesome.
Well, if you don't, let me know.
So, again, he only has 2 rockets left.
If all 4
rockets left.
Yeah.
He goes to blow up a wall, but there's a whole army of people coming all in the same Jeep. He turns around and shoots it. As you can see, it's on fire, and everyone dies. He turns around, and again, I am convinced that this was another shot of, hey guys, get my arm. It looks big. Look at my arm.
It looks totally awesome. I'm swole here.
So I'm convinced that this is another shot of, you got to get my arm. And he just leaves it there.
There we go.
I absolutely I love this gun. But once again, they never once aim at anyone. They just shoot.
It's like the A-Team, man. They're just, shooting wherever.
Well, the A-Team actually got rid of the stocks to lighten it because they're like, hey, we're not going to aim anyway.
Right.
which I still love the A-Team gun. A matter of fact, that's why I always liked the Snow Serpent's gun, because it had the thin stock that if you wanted to take it off,
Yep.
which many of us probably did, and go, how much money that's worth now?
Yeah, right.
So I had to throw this in one because he's just shooting, and this is obviously when he still has this AK version. But then we get to, now he kills a lot of other people throughout it. And obviously throughout this, he's throwing grenades, and anytime a grenade lands around someone, it blows up, they jump. But when someone throws a grenade that lands by him, he has time to run away from it.
Or catch it and throw it, back.
Yes.
Whatever.
But no,
the other guys have trampolines. They're just waiting to jump off the trampoline.
So we get here, and now we all know he's hiding up in the rafters, and these guys just wipe this nice shed out with the gardener's shed. Because why wouldn't the place have a gardener's shed, right?
Hey, if you have that big mansion in Beverly Hills, you got to have one of those.
But this is on an island. This is on Cobra Island, all right?
No, sure, yeah. But it looks just like the one from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. So this is where you're like, and again, you have no idea what's about to happen. And to me, I remember being shocked that he forks this guy with a pitchfork. Then he swings down, if I remember correctly, and just acts right to the crotch.
Oh, yeah. Just
which you're not walking that one off, all right?
No.
You are not walking that one off. And then we have this guy.
Blood should have sprayed everywhere in all of these scenes. I'm just saying. I mean, a little bit of that blood spray should have been appropriate.
Now I could not.
We got hail coming down.
What?
It just started hailing at my place. So
you're in Texas.
Yep.
I think it's like 60 right here in Michigan. So.
Oh man, it's like 82 degrees or something, but it's starting to hail pretty good right now.
Really?
Yep.
Damn. So then we get this guy here. Now I could not find a picture of him without his head. Because there is another version where it goes into his neck.
Yeah.
And I believe that is the TV version.
Oh, there's my doggy. There's one of them. Yep, they're getting anxious with the hail. And it looks like golf ball sized hail.
My dog doesn't care. That dog, my old dog, little Bichon Shih Tzu.
Oh man,
that dog hears lightning, and oh my god, it's awful. He was never like that. We came home one day, and all of a sudden, he was freaking out. So this is the best shot that I could get. There's lots of ones with him in the neck.
Yeah.
But again, I believe that was for the TV because they didn't want to show the head getting cut off. But no one lasts very long. Now, I couldn't.
She starts fighting back. She's fighting back, throwing her tough girl stuff, that karate stuff that was set up at the beginning. She's starting to pay it off a little bit.
But what I missed here was killing off the head guy. Because he runs around with the M64 a little bit. Then he fires the M16 with one hand and never thinks, like, as he's firing at the bad guy, as the main guy, he never thinks, well, instead of spraying bullets behind him, I should just start in front of him.
Right. Nobody ever thinks that in the movies because once you start, you can't stop and it's got to go.
My hand moves faster than they can run. He ends up killing him with the shotgun. I don't know when he had Cher from Clueless, but it was obviously before this. Well, Bruce says here, I heard Schwarzenegger wanted to take the army chopped off and started beating the guy with it.
No, that's Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal beats people with their own body parts. He literally rips them off and beats them with it because he's that good.
That's what I had missed. Because I knew there was 4 guys. He grabs the one guy and he cuts the arm off. That's right.
Yes.
I couldn't find a picture of, like, those were the only 3 pictures. And I'm like, I know he kills 4. What is the 4th one? So she gets away. And I'm still, to this day, I've never understood when she breaks away. She finds something to get the door off, right? So now she has that shaft, that round shaft that she somehow uses to break open wood, which I still like. If there was a flathead screwdriver, it might make sense. But she gets away. He smashes through. He smashes through the wood, falls over, the same as the Shockmaster did in WCW. He smashed through the wall and fell. Right? You know that was the one that Arnold was like, "Oh no, we're keeping that one because you fell and looked stupid." So they end up here in the steam room.
There we go. Freddie's got the daughter. Bennett's got the daughter.
Yeah. So this was something that I didn't really catch until I didn't really catch this to watching it this time. He constantly refers to her as the girl.
Uh-huh.
Not my daughter, the girl. And he does it let the girl go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the girl. You don't want the girl. Like, you mean your daughter? But maybe he was trying to just not make it personal.
Yeah.
And here he is. He's all ready. He's already shot him once. Again, it just bounced off just like the Predator's laser. And here he is holding his knife. Come on. Which again, if she's already scared of him, wouldn't you be like, no, I'm using the gun?
No, let's fight like men with knives.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have huge muscles. It doesn't matter.
This is where the worst editing in the whole movie happens.
So this is, I came across this and I'm like, that is the psycho look right there. He is looking psycho. He is looking absolutely crazy. And he throws the gun at him. And then they proceed into their knife fight.
Yep.
Which I will say.
This is one of the most ridiculous scenes that happens coming up here in a minute.
Are you talking about when he gets electrocuted?
Yes, electricity doesn't work that way.
Okay, so I always, even as a kid, was like, so if I get electrocuted, I'll have like more power.
All right, I got supercharged. I'm ready to go.
It does happen in the Avengers, right?
Well, I mean, Thor's different.
When you have Thor and Iron Man, it is different. But he gets electrocuted and gets more power and starts beating up Arnold. Almost burns his face off. Which leads to this. And believe it or not, this was not an easy shot to find. Like, there are not a lot of pictures of this.
Next time when you're watching the movie, get your cell phone out and take a picture of the screen that way. I don't know.
Yeah, but then I gotta send it over, man. Believe me, putting this in a PowerPoint was just, I don't want to look at these pictures anymore. But I wanted to have them done before today.
Yeah.
Because that was my issue, the last one, because of the fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I needed to see how there was a lot of things that I figured out for live streaming. Like, okay. So he ends up ripping the pipe off the wall and just tossing it like a javelin, which I think you and I both know not only this thing would be super heavy,
yep.
It probably would not fly straight either.
Yeah, not so much. Its arc would be very shallow.
Yes.
But, whatever. I mean, he's superhuman. We've already determined that. He carries trees on his shoulder. He rips seats out of cars. He rips phone booths right out of the wall. He's got superhuman strength.
I mean, in all honesty, a lot of the things that I just pointed out, ripping this out, throwing it, ripping the the seat out of the car. Really going right back to we watched at the beginning. You're right. You pointed out carrying the tree pretty much negates anything that I said. Like why? Like what? Why am I? Why is all that stuff? I'm like, why? How is that? But this
Because
is like I
that
don't know.
steam pipe right there, that steam pipe's going to be less weight than that tree that it was no problem. So throwing that, that's easy.
Definitely. So, and this is where we get the line.
Let some steam off, Bennett.
So then we got to get to the end here. So General Kirby shows up now with an army. Again, going back to what I said, why didn't we just call General Kirby in the first place? He had 11 hours. I have a feeling that had he called General Kirby, he probably had his phone number.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't have cell phones, but he probably had a direct line in whatever base he was at.
With the relationship they had, he would have had him on whatever speed dial was in the 80s, right? He has his personal number. He could have gotten a hold of him.
Yes. And once again, these soldiers show up holding a rifle completely wrong. And this is from a guy who sets up action figures. All right.
Yeah.
And wait, did I not? Oh, so I have this here because once again, this was all right. This is the end of the movie. We got to show how big I am. So I'm going to carry my daughter.
Little girl. Yes.
So even a child at this age, still small, is still pretty damn heavy to walk. But once again, we have determined he carried a tree. And this is where they have their talk, and he's like, "You know what? I'm done. I'm not coming back." I like that he just rescued his daughter, killed one of his ex teammates, wiped out everyone, and he's like, "We can set up your old unit, John." Like, you are all business, Kirby. Like, you're all business. You don't ask, "Hey, do you need an ambulance? Do you need a medic? Do you leave anything for us?" Just bodies.
No, we want to re-enlist you. Come on back. Come on. We'll pay you a government salary to do our bidding again.
You might as well have had the contract here. Like, you can sign it right here.
Right? Here's the contract.
So I did find this picture, and I had to put it on there. Because as a kid, I just remember going like, oh my God, they got someone almost as big as Arnold to fight him. And then as I get older and I see him, like, that guy has never worked out his life, a day in his life.
Nope.
And then I see this picture, and it's just like, first, you can tell how miserable he is. He's like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like,
he had to wear that undersized costume for however long the shoot was.
Like, someone really was like, you have to have chain armor on. Well, why?
Yeah, chainmail looks cool, man. I mean, it's so metal. You've got to wear it.
And look at it, and like this is exactly like when you see like stuff like this with Arnold, it's like this is how you hear that he was on set. Like, always playing jokes on. He knew he was the star. It doesn't matter.
My favorite picture of Arnold is with him and Wilt Chamberlain and Andre the Giant, and how he's the little tiny one in the picture.
Yeah, there's, yeah. You see some of those guys, and it's like you think they're big until you see them in person. Or
you see the expendable cast photos when they're all lined up, and you have all these short guys from Jet Li and Arnold and Sly and Chuck, and then you have Dolph Lundgren standing in the back because he's 6'4".
well, that's what Arnold was like 6'1", 6'2" when he was competing. That was really, really big back then.
He was never that tall.
What?
He's not that tall.
No, I think Arnold's like 6'1". So when he was competing, he was like really tall compared to the other bodybuilders. That was one thing that set him aside. Now bodybuilders are just boom, so much bigger.
Yeah.
Let's see here. PNC says, when I noticed the cable around the ankle, it totally destroyed my childhood. So as I was finishing up with this, I came across this.
Nah.
Now, have you seen this?
No.
Have you even seen the previews for it?
No, I've never heard of this before.
It came out in 2017 or 2018.
Really?
It is the spoof, but it's called No Chance because it is the sequel, a spoof sequel, and I do believe that is actually Bennett in it.
It looks like him.
Yeah, well, I watched it, and it's hilarious. And this is supposed to be his daughter right here. And they actually reenact like him throwing her in the water and stuff. Like, and this guy is actually pretty big. Like whoever this guy, but he's not like ripped or anything. But they reenact it. Yeah, Bruce, check it. Like this just came across while I was like getting pictures, and I'm like, what is this? No Chance. But that's what he says at the end of it. No Chance.
Yep.
So this is the spoof sequel, and it's the fact that they reenact stuff from the beginning where he's like throws her in the water and stuff. There's a bunch of reenacting that you go, oh my god, it's so bad. But I'm pretty sure that's actually the actor that plays Bennett.
Wow.
I will look for it, and I will put a post for it if I can find out exactly where it is. I mean, you gotta be this on.
No kidding.
It's gotta be on on some streaming service that you don't have to pay for, because I can't imagine ever having to pay for that. So anyway.
Yep, it's definitely Vernon Wells who reprises his role as Bennett.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's anyone else. I didn't even check it out because it was late. It was late, and I watched the trailer for it, which I went, oh my gosh, this looks so bad, but also looks so damn funny. So anyway, let's get into what we're gonna do in 2 weeks. And so I put the polls up there, and I put it in 2 different places. I can't do that anymore because if we get a good amount on both, it's I can't see how many.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard to aggregate
how many
it.
people voted. I can only see the percentage.
Yeah.
So, and shockingly, Tony, this is for you. Revenge of the Nerds actually won, which I really thought was going to be I thought that was going to come in last place because on Punks on Film, no one even voted for it. There's only like 7 votes, but and then on Punk with Toys, it got like 27. So it did win. So in 2 weeks, we'll be talking Revenge of the Nerds, which I have not seen in many, many years.
It's been so long. That movie is, yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch it a couple times. Yeah, PNC. Yeah.
I watched Better Off Dead not too long ago, and One Crazy Summer not too long ago.
Dude, I thought Better Off Dead was gonna. I thought it was a shoo-in.
Yeah, I want my $2.
But I was wrong, and like I said, hey, that's why. Listen, we put it out there. I want people to join in and have some ideas.
PNC Game says it's on YouTube.
Let's see. So I met the whole cast at the airport before. Okay,
but which one?
But what's on YouTube?
Revenge of the Nerds, I think he's talking about.
Well, we're talking Revenge of the Nerds, or are we talking about No Chance? That's what I couldn't figure that out too. So you're talking about No Chance or Revenge of the Nerds? I kind of hope they're both.
No chance.
We might have to do that one. We might just have to watch that. But yeah, so we're gonna do Revenge of the Nerds. Again, I have not seen it in many years. I know that uh, the guy that Maverick kills is in it. Uh, if I remember correctly, um, one of the guys from Better Off Dead is in it, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in it in Revenge of the Nerds.
There's a lot of big names that you kind of forget that were in it. I think that's one of those movies that when you just look back and you can be like, wow, he was in it. He was in it. This guy was in it. So, but we got to decide on a poll for what we want to do for the next. So, did you have any movies in mind? Movie you want to throw out there?
Outlander.
Outlander. Okay, I'm going to write Outlander down. So that's your choice to put out there. Okay, so Eddie here is saying Police Academy. Is there anyone?
That's a good one.
Do you want to do Police Academy or Police Academy 2? You say Police Academy is the first one? So we do Police Academy?
Sorry, it's not Outlander. It's called Outland. It's a 1981 movie with Sean Connery.
Okay. So Police Academy, and I have seen Police Academy. Okay. So we got Police Academy. I didn't even think of one. Actually, I get all these ones like in my head, and now like I'm put on the spot, and I can't think of any. So hey, listen, we got 3 more movies to think of. So throw some out there because I actually threw out a few before. We only got 7 people watching, but that means that there's 4 more that can watch. Matter of fact, probably less because I might even be wait for myself here. Because hey, if not, I'm gonna pick out some of my own. Can you think of anything else?
Well, Ice Pirates. I just saw that one recently. That was awesome.
Now, did you bring that one up before?
No, I told you about it in a private message.
That's right.
It's got some crazy scenes in it. It's got one of the craziest love scenes in a movie that is like the cover of every romance novel you've ever seen put together into one scene.
Okay.
Eddie, we already did the Warriors.
So, yeah, that was our first episode. That was our first show. It was miraculous. We had no technical difficulties. Would you consider Hot Shots old enough?
Yeah, I mean, I would put anything in the 90s in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to include.
I have a special place in my heart for Hot Shots Part 2, but Hot Shots is all right too.
I have seen Hot Shots, but it's been quite some time. Eddie, you should go watch the Warriors, like it, and so Blind Fury. What is Blind Fury? All right, so we get go watch the episode, like it, share it. It's awful. It was fun. Like I said, I just want this stuff to be fun, man. Like that's, it still amazes me that we got like, I think 14 people tops in here. But when I talked about it on Monday Night Toy Ramblings, everyone is all about like,
you got 30 people movies. Interacting in the chat, talking about movies, wanting to interact.
So
join us, tell your friends. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We want to interact with you guys a little bit more. I have a great time talking to Lawrence about it, but I'd like you guys involved too because this is for you guys.
Yeah, and like you said, when we get to the point where like maybe we have some more, maybe it's a special movie or whatever, I would like to have a third person on. I think after you get too many, you get too many people stepping over each other trying to talk, especially if you get some real talkative people. You really have to watch. And again, I'm one of them, but I do try and watch when I'm talking. Well, anyway, so these are the ones we got: Outland, Police Academy, Ice Pirates, Hot Shots, and Blind Fury. So those are the ones going to be in the poll. I've seen 2 of them, and I've seen Hot Shots, and I can't tell you anything about it. It's been that long.
Topper Harley.
I can remember Police Academy pretty well.
The first Police Academy is awesome. They
second
watered him
one is
down after that. They watered him down after that, made him PG-13 and all that kind of stuff. They just weren't as good as the first one for sure.
Listen, in the second one, where the cat shits in his cereal, and he puts it away, and he's like, "How many times am I gonna tell you? The litter box, and then he just goes back to eat. Even to this day, like I was so disgusted. Because as a kid, you don't realize like it's not really cat shit in there.
Yeah,
but you're like, oh my god, it's so disgusting, and it's like, and watching what was the guy's name? Gutenberg.
Oh yeah, Mahoney,
watching his face when he's watching it, like that was like just he's like, oh man.
Oh man.
But yeah, the first Police Academy is awesome. I mean, Hightower. Obviously, I mentioned Hightower earlier.
Man, the voices guy who was in Spaceballs and everything else. Man, he's amazing.
See, there's some movies that I don't. There's some movies that I definitely want to get to that I'm not sure I want to put a vote to because I want to do UHF.
Want to do which one?
UHF eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Spaceballs.
Yeah.
And I still want to do Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah.
Even though.
What about Black Dynamite? We gotta do Black Dynamite.
Well, which one do you want? Dolomite or the Human Tornado?
I mean, we could do either one of those. I like Black Dynamite the best, but
it's been a long time since I've seen them. I just remember when we found out about Rudy Ray Moore, and that's when we realized how have we not known about this guy? And again, what I remember about the Human Tornado is when he jumps off butt naked to roll down, and he gets like halfway down, and he goes, "Oh, you didn't think I did that shit?" You're going, what? Like, this guy really jumped down there naked. I'm sure he had something to cover him, but
right.
Oh, all right. So those are the movies. I'm gonna put them up. I think until we can get more people over on Punks on Film, and we're gonna continue to try and push it to get you guys to go over there. I want to do some other short videos. I definitely wanted to do a Commando Commando trailer for it. I just never got around to it because, believe it or not, guys, I don't sit here in front of my computer and YouTube. That's all I do. Matter of fact, I think I spend too much time in front of this damn thing after work and everything. Because sometimes I sit here, I'm just looking like, oh. And you see how poor my editing skills are. So. But
all right, everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. We enjoyed the chat, enjoyed everybody coming in and hanging out with us. Anthony Romo, you're always amazing to have in here. PNC Games and Things, awesome to see you. Eddie Rodriguez, nice job. Allison, Troy, always glad to have you in here. Bruce, keep on coming, keep on chatting with us, man. We love hearing from you guys. Everybody in the chat who I didn't mention, we appreciate you guys listening, and just tell your friends, and let's keep this thing going.
All right, man. Have a great night, and we will see you guys on Monday.
Good night, everybody.